Hello, hello. Today I make a video which I didn't really, it's not super appealing to me, but it's true that very often I get questions about it. And so I think we have to sort that out. It's about the ribs. How high should the ribs be on a violin, on a viola, on a cello, whatever? How much does it influence actually on the final sound, right? There's a lot to say, and on the other side, I believe that it is a little bit taken too serious. Because certainly everything influences the final result. So if we wouldn't have any ribs, like the pochette of Guarnieri, where the back and the top are glued together, right? And the back is out of one piece, where also the neck is made out of, then you certainly have a sound like nothing comes out, okay? It was a big delusion when I made that pochette, because it just, even with steel strings, it was nothing, you know? Because there is not enough volume. The volume which is inside. Now, before we talk about the measurements, you have to imagine that when you play, the bridge which is standing on the top with 2 feet, one over the bass bar, which transmits the vibration to a bigger area on the top, and the other foot is pressing on the top, where very close by is the sound post, right? And the sound post transmits the vibrations, the higher frequencies, to the back of the instrument. On all instruments, the same thing. Yeah? Now, the close by air inside the body, but certainly also on the outside, is being started to vibrate, or I don't know what's the right word in English, is launched to vibrate, and then all the air around is vibrating. And the F-holes, you would say the sound comes out of the F-hole, is not true. It's more sound is brought into the big hole by the back. So actually it would be better that the musicians play like this and not like this here. No, here, like this would be better. So we don't want to change now the world, and it's okay. But we have just to know that the inside volume of the body is certainly has a certain impact on the sound quality, okay? But also the outside, because both sides are the engine which puts the air into vibrations, and we can hear it because the air is vibrating, okay? Now, when you start and you are making instruments, certainly the heat of the ribs is an important part. On a violin, why is the violin so precious? And it's for the way how it is constructed. Now we go back on some videos around 10 or 15 episodes or something. I don't know, I don't remember which one, but it's not so important. But I told you already that on the instrument, with the neck inside here, on the top side it is pressed to the top. On the lower side it is pushed, because the neck is because of the pressure of the strings. Here it is squeezed down, but here it is pushed up. So you would say that the top goes down, but it's not true. The top goes even up, okay? And there are a lot of forces on the whole instrument, and all these forces come to zero. Come to zero, and that's the reason and the big secret why the instrument after hundreds of years is still sounding, okay, and is not collapsed by now. Now, from the physics point of view, there are a few rules which have to be maintained. And this is that there has to be a straight area and certain things have to be lined up on that line. And that certain things are the upper nut, okay, and the area where the top is glued on, okay. Now here we make like, these are the corners of the C and then goes all the way down, okay. Or maybe we make it a little bit here like this and we take away this one here and we make a long C like this. And then we have here our C and our back, but the top is glued on this line, okay, this is one thing, okay, and then we have here our ribs, and here we have our corners of the back, and here we have the arching of the back, okay. Now, and up here we have somewhere our bridge. Now today I'm really not good in designing, huh? It's really, it's a disaster I'm designing today, but it's fine. I'm standing too close. We would say it's easy to design on a chalkboard, whiteboard, not chalkboard, on the whiteboard. It's easy to design, but if you're standing so close, you design just, you will say, what is this? It should be this violin here, seen from the side, okay? Here we have, here's a F-hole, okay? It's really bad, but it's okay. This is the bridge, okay? And then the strings go all the way down like this. The key point for the ideal height of the ribs is that the ribs should be exactly like the two archings together, or like the height of the bridge. Okay? Now my design is really bad and it's not correct, and I really have to make it better, but now the two archings together, back and top. Let's take here the Hellier, for instance, like this, okay? Okay, these two together is the same. It's the same than the height of the ribs, okay? Can you see it already? Okay? And the bridge, same height than this one. This is the ideal situation. So, when we talk about instruments and they are old and they're going to be opened up, certainly if the restorer who makes it, who opens up the Stradivari, looks around if nobody's looking, and then after he open it up and some chips are here, then he just takes it away with a nice big rasp, right? Rah, rah. We all hope that they don't do it like this, right? And then slowly the ribs become more narrow and they come down to 27. I even saw a violin once with 22 millimeters, which is almost a centimeter less. And that certainly influences the sound of an instrument. If we're talking about 1 millimeter plus minus, not this big impact. But if it comes down to 5 millimeters, it certainly makes an impact. And certainly, seen from that point of view, so also 1 millimeter makes an impact. But before you could listen to that impact of 1 millimeter, I think you have to train your eye more than one human life. You know, it's pretty difficult to hear that difference, I would imagine. So, this is on violins. On cello has a completely different evolution. So violin and viola is like this. Both archings together, ribs, bridge, right? And the neck has to be inserted in a way that the strings start on that flat area where the top is glued, okay? Where the back is glued, nobody cares, okay? Just imagine how unimportant the back is from that point of view. On a cello, we have the ribs here 11.5, 12, and then all 12, okay? On the back side straight, on the top it's inclined to this corner and then straight again, okay? And somehow something like this we also make on the top, where we take a little bit less down on the upper block of the top, but this is a tiny difference. But now, on a cello, you also have the same thing about the volume inside, okay? And these big plates, when they're brought to vibrations, are nothing else than bring the air inside to vibration. But since this is a certain size, half a centimeter plus minus, you hardly can hear the difference, okay? So if your ribs are now 10 or 9.5, I don't think that you would perceive that your instrument is less strong sounding, because there are so many other tiny parts which make the complex result of your sound that I wouldn't really focus now only on the height of the ribs, okay? It's almost everything about the ribs. There is one thing which is not about the height of the ribs. I certainly believe that the height of the ribs is influencing actually the final sound in a different way, that if the ribs are strong and stable, it works a little bit like the chassis of a car, that it helps that back and top can vibrate freely without being disturbed by too soft ribs. So probably a good point would be to have the right height, but also have them strong enough in order that they are stable and help that the instrument is keeping top and back in a very stable way, okay? I hope you learned even today something about something I didn't want to make a video, but it's another tiny part which makes part of the game. Tell your friends, see you next time, ciao ciao, bye bye, ciao ciao.